I'm Michael Plato, professor of philosophy at Colorado Christian University. An atheistic work full of abominations which ought to be buried forever in eternal oblivion, and a book forged in hell by the devil himself. These are just a few of the descriptions given to a book with the rather benign-sounding title of A Theologico-Political Treatise. Yet this work became one of history's most controversial books when it was printed in 1670 in Amsterdam. Though published anonymously, the author's name was no secret. Baruch Spinoza was from the Jewish community, which had only recently settled in the Netherlands after escaping religious persecution in Portugal. Given the treatise's main subject, namely the place of religion in society, Spinoza invited attack on himself personally. He was excommunicated from his synagogue. Then his treatise was condemned by the Christian Church and banned in the Netherlands. After that, all of Spinoza's subsequent philosophical works were rejected and only published after his death. His contemporaries feared that the treatise was the most dangerous book ever published, and that it threatened the social, political, religious, and moral order. Modern scholars, such as Stephen Nadler and Jonathan Israel, on the other hand, believe it to be the most important and influential book of the Enlightenment, and that it laid the foundation for the modern secular age we now live in. So what is it about this treatise that makes it so consequential and so threatening? For one thing, it was one of the first texts that made the argument for the separation of religion and politics, or church and state. It also put forward the ideas of religious tolerance and democracy. This would make it deeply influential to later thinkers such as Thomas Paine and many of the founders of the United States. More controversially, Spinoza spends the majority of his text arguing that the Bible, specifically the Old Testament or Hebrew Bible, was in fact not a divine book, but a work entirely of human origin. He puts forward some of the first rational arguments against prophecy and miracles, and most especially the authorship of the Torah. While the Bible itself, as well as Jewish and Christian tradition, claims that Moses was the author of the first 5 books of the Bible, Spinoza argued that this was in fact a fiction. The Torah, he claimed, was written by much later authors with their own very specific political motivations. It is this aspect of the work that will become the foundation of later biblical scholarship. For those who hold to the divine authority of the Bible and who believe that religion has a place in public and political life, the Theologico-Political Treatise is a book that must be reckoned with.